Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back. Been away for a while, just catching up. Life kind of hits you hard sometimes, but nothing bad. But anyway, I figure I've been wanting to do this again, and what better time than now with the premiere of WandaVision? First two episodes came on Disney Plus the other day, and I gotta say, um, is it a great show? No. Can it be? Maybe. But as of right now, I'm more captivated than anything else as to what's going on, where it's headed, and all the little clues that they've dropped in two episodes. So let's get into it. I mean, I guess they wanted to do a show to follow up on Endgame and keep the flow going, and with Disney Plus, and needed to make that money. It sounded like a great idea. So, and as far as what the idea is, what is it? Is it Wanda losing her mind? Is it Wanda being experimented on? Is it, is she trapped somewhere and that's how she's coping? Is she coping with the loss of the vision and all the tragedy that has happened to her? And because when you think about it, as far as MCU characters, with the exception of maybe Thor, actually with the exception of Thor, she's the one who probably has lost the most. You know, lost her country, her brother, her parents, caused those deaths, which led to the Sokovia Accords, lost the love of her life. So, yeah, you kind of do lose it, don't you? But anyway, on to the show. So, I mean, I guess the show, the way they're doing the episodes is based on sitcoms. And, the first episode has a very late 1950s or early 1960s sitcom vibe. Very I don't know, a lot of people say I Love Lucy, but they said it was inspired by the Dick Van Dyke. Fortunately, I'm old enough to remember the Dick Van Dyke Show, and I would say the Dick Van Dyke Show more than I Love Lucy. I think episode 2 had more of a I Love Lucy feel and a vibe to it, and it's just a very cheesy life with her neighbor Agnes, which most people think is Agatha Harkness. I was kind of against that one for a little bit, but like like she said in the show, the proof is in the pudding. Kind of hard to ignore that maybe she is Agatha Harkness. So the MCU's version of Agatha Harkness, not a very old witch woman, and everybody else is just like living a life but not really knowing what they're doing. Like when Vision goes to work, he doesn't understand why he does that work. Nobody does. They just work. And that production has gone up 300% since he started. Production of what? I mean, I thought that was a bit fishy. Maybe that I'll log that one in the back of the brain for a little bit, because maybe it comes back later or something. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a throwaway line. But sometimes a lot of these things aren't throwaway lines, And she has to bring her boss to work. Vision has to bring his boss to work, and they have to have a dinner, which is very seriously awkward, and up until the point where the boss starts to question who they are, where they come from, why they're there, and he starts choking on his dinner suddenly, and his wife starts to tell him to stop it, stop it, stop it at an increasing pace, but where you can see, although her tone kind of semi stays the same, the emotion in her face starts to change. Like, what, I can't do anything about it. And you look at Vision's face, and he's also like, I can't do anything. What do I do? He looks down at him like this, but he's kind of looking at Wanda, but he's looking down, and to the point where like Wanda is also like, and then she just tells Vision to save his life, which was really cool, by the way. He used his phasing powers to pull the piece of meat out of him, and everything goes back to normal. The gentleman goes, oh, I was impressed. Great dinner. Let's talk about that promotion, which was kind of odd. And, the show ends with a very 1950-ish style of all happiness and kisses and hugs and a little fading heart. Like, you remember I Love Lucy episodes and stuff like that? And with those old shows, well, for the older people, but, I'm pretty sure people have seen them in the past. They kind of end with a closing box or a closing heart or stuff like that. And that's where it gets weird, because now you see a modern monitoring center. And the first thing you catch, and for all the diehard Marvel fans out there, you immediately see that sword symbol right there. It's just right there. And then you see modern equipment, an audio video connector type of thing. It says analog, all this connected to an old 1950s, 1960s style television, which is odd. And a woman's hand closing a book, which has a sword insignia on it. You know, and then in the next episode, it jumps into, and if you paid attention, if you notice, it kind of opens up. The house is different suddenly. You know, at first glance, I didn't catch it. Till then, and you know, further on in the episode, when she walks out into her front yard, you see the house, and it's different. It's a different home. And then the style of the house is slightly different. The inside of the house is a bit different. The aesthetic suddenly changed, so you could clearly tell it's no longer that Dick Van Dyke Show inspiration in it. And for me, it had more of the I Love Lucy feel, especially with the two beds. And how, if you ever watched, again, for the older people, the TV enthusiasts, I Love Lucy, the episodes, and whenever they showed the bedroom scenes, there were two beds, you know. And over the course of the show, it eventually became one bed. And she does that in one episode. She makes one bed. And, you know, they have to do a magic show to help with the fundraiser in the crowd. In the town of Westview, and during and this one I thought was pretty cool. During the why do I keep doing this? During the when they're practicing for the magic show, you know, Vision says that he's illusion, and Wanda says that she's glamour, and to me, and this is kind of something that I thought may come into play, something that I know a lot of my friends and my comic book buddies. We didn't much, you know. And even though that the actor did come out to say that a lot of the inspiration for the show is from Tom King's Vision miniseries and the House of M story arc, I always said there's gotta be some parts of the old 1985-86 Vision and Scarlet Witch miniseries thrown in there. And it kind of was, because Illusion and Glamour are actually two characters in the Marvel Universe from that miniseries. They both have, oddly enough, powers that kind of resemble Visions and Scarlet Witches. Glamour can control her density, and Illusion can control the molecules of an object that he just touched for about 60 seconds or something like that. It was, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've read those, but like as soon as I heard the names, I was like, oh my god. I mean, and if you want, you can look back into it. It's no big deal. I mean, they even have their own little entries in the old official handbook of the Marvel Universe. So I thought that was a nice, cool little shout out. And they have Vision again goes off to the guys to a neighborhood patrol watch meeting, and Wanda goes with the women to have a talk and rehearse for this fundraiser. And that's when the weirdness begins again. Wanda hears a noise. She goes outside into her black and white world, and in her black and white world, she sees a little markish of reddish and yellow, which I thought was kind of funny, because those are stark colors. But she sees a toy helicopter, which is in colors, in red and yellow. And on it, you see the sword insignia again. And then Agatha shows up. And the women are off, and they have their talk. And a lot of the women are there. And there's one particular woman who is immediately non-trusting of Wanda. And you meet Geraldine, who obviously is Monica Rambeau. And she doesn't know why she's there. And of course, they just practice, not practice so much as they have the discussion of how the fundraiser, because it's for the children. And this comes up a few times. Everyone mentions for the children, but for the eagle-eyed viewer, there's no children in Westview. You don't see a single child in Westview. The closest I would say is you see a little pool boy in the background who's maybe in his late teens. But as far as kids, you see no children. And they do their magic act. And while they do their magic act, Vision tends to use his powers. Wanda uses her powers to explain why Vision can fly and why Vision can phase something through him, and why they teleport someone into the booth. And again, the show just kind of semi-ends. And right before the end, you hear not so much a radio, but you hear someone talking, because the radio scene comes earlier, but you hear someone talking, asking questions, And so far, you can see that the show's going to be a slow burn show as to leading where it goes. I know a lot of these internet reviewers got to see 3 episodes. We got to see 2, but episode 3 is Friday. And like I said, I'm greatly intrigued, and I can't wait to see where this is going. Because 1, I love the Marvel Universe. Everybody knows that. And 2, I'm really like, oh, where they're gonna go with this? Like, you know, they have many venues as to how they're going to go with this. Wanda batshit crazy. Is she going batshit crazy? Has she already gone batshit crazy? Are they prisoners? Is this being done to them? And yeah, I can't wait till Friday. You know, I can't wait till Friday's new episode, and we'll do another episode later with we'll talk about Easter eggs, because there's quite a bit of them. Even though, especially episode 2, I kind of mentioned some with Illusion and Glamour, but episode 2 has a few little drop Easter eggs here and there. Some deep cuts for people who know the Marvel Universe. Like, I got a feeling that this show has a lot of, not a feeling, but you can see it has a lot of deep cuts to comic book lore for people who've read the comics and all. And yeah, we'll talk again later. We'll come back with like a little spoiler Easter egg style, bit more spoiler Easter egg style reveals. Okay, and talk to you later, guys. Bye.